Hello everyone, I'm Professor Sue Black, Professor of Computer Science and Technology Evangelist at Durham University, here to talk to you today about technology, the internet and the cloud and how they've changed my life for the better and can change yours too. Technology really has changed my life. It's helped me to bring my family out of poverty and given me a great career where I've achieved so many things that I never would have dreamed of. Things like setting up the UK's first online network for women in tech, BCS Women, that's the British Computer Society Women's Network, back in 1998, so some time ago now. It's enabled me to run the campaign to save Bletchley Park, home of the World War II codebreakers, to run programmes to get mums into tech through my social enterprise Tech Mums, and our flagship jobs-focused Tech Up Women programme at Durham University. We retrain women from underserved communities into tech careers. Technology, the internet and the cloud have completely changed my life. So I'm now a Professor of Computer Science and Technology Evangelist at Durham University, but 35 years ago my life was very different. I was bringing up my 3 older children on my own on a council estate in inner city London. I'd left school and home at 16 because of my dysfunctional home circumstances. I'd worked a few jobs, got married and then had 3 children, all by the age of 23. Unfortunately, after that my marriage broke down and I had to run away from home one morning to a women's refuge on the other side of London. Then, aged 26, I went back into education. I really wanted to create a better life for my children and thought about going back to work, but realised that I'd left school at 16, I didn't have many qualifications, and so actually going back into the workplace wasn't an option for me. So I decided to go back into education. I went to college and then university, gaining a degree and then a PhD in computing. I then became an academic, a lecturer in computing, and finally had enough money to provide a good life for my children and myself. Phew. Technology itself has changed so much since then, it's just incredible. When I think back to when I was a teenager, if I wanted to keep in touch with friends in other countries, telephone calls were just too expensive, or even regular letters. They just cost too much to send. I used to have to go to the post office and buy an airmail letter, a specific, very thin, lightweight, pre-printed sheet of paper that I then wrote my letter on and folded and stuck down and posted through the postbox, sending over to my friend in Australia. How different is that to now, when I can call anyone with an internet connection for free through a variety of different online platforms. I can call from my phone or my computer, I can video call them and we can chat in real time. How amazing is it that we have the technology to be able to do that for free? And what a difference from all the trouble that I had to go to send an airmail letter and the time that it took before my friend would be able to read what I'd sent. When I started university in 1989, I got email for the first time. I found it absolutely unbelievable that I was able to type messages to other people who could receive them instantaneously. When I was at uni producing documents on a PC in the labs there, my coursework, and needed to save those documents, I had to save them onto a 1.4 megabyte floppy disk, megabyte, not gigabyte, and then carry that floppy disk around with me until the next time I needed to edit it, and then finally print it off to submit to my lecturer for marking. Sometimes the files on the floppy disk somehow got corrupted and I'd lose my work and have to start all over again. Gosh, what a pain that was. When we were working on group projects, several of us students would need to work on one final document, which we would put together by emailing bits and pieces of the final document to each other, with one person then putting all of those pieces together into one final coherent, hopefully, report. It was a nightmare. There were so many things that could go wrong in that process with all the technology that was available to us then. These days, because we have the cloud, things are so different and so much better. Because we have the cloud, we can save anything that we produce in the cloud rather than on a floppy disk that may get corrupted and we might lose that document. This gives us so many advantages. Because we have the cloud, many people can edit the same document at the same time. We don't have to email bits and pieces of a document to one person that then collates everything into a finished document. We can all add it at the same time, adding whatever we want in real time. Our students these days can work in groups on one document at the same time, being able to see the whole document the whole time with no regard for where they are in the world. They can be thousands of miles away from each other, working together. In business, the facilities that cloud infrastructure gives us means that employees in offices all around the globe can collaborate in real time again to produce the reports that they need, something that we just never would have dreamed of being able to do back in the 80s. And now, as a computer science professor writing research papers with colleagues, we can set up a document in the cloud and start working together on writing that paper straight away. We can keep track of who wrote what, where and when, and even roll back to previous versions if we want to make some changes. The cloud has changed collaborative writing out of all recognition from just a few years ago. Of course, it's not just collaborating on writing documents that's changed. There are so many ways which we can collaborate now, which we just couldn't do before, and they're making a real difference in the world every day. Back in 2008, I found out that the place where the codebreakers worked in the UK during World War II, Bletchley Park, which is now a museum, may have to close because of their financial difficulties. 10,000 people, 8,000 of whom were women, worked at Bletchley Park during the war, and the work that they did there is said to have shortened World War II by 2 years, potentially saving 22 million lives. When I found out that the museum may have to close, I started a campaign to save it. I contacted all of the heads and professors in the UK by email, saying that we had to save Bletchley Park. I had a great response to my email. About 100 heads and professors then signed a letter which we sent in to the Times newspaper for publication. I contacted the technology correspondent at the BBC, Rory Kechlin-Jones, who then interviewed me at Bletchley Park, the interviews being broadcast on BBC News and on the Radio 4 Today news programme. The story went across traditional media, television, the press, national radio. I got lots of emails from people wanting to help, but it wasn't until the following year when I started using Twitter and social media in general that the campaign started to really make a difference. Social media, enabled by the cloud, gave me access to everyone online and often in real time. I set up a blog detailing what the situation was for Bletchley Park and why it needed saving. I managed to get in touch with celebrities like Stephen Fry, who made a massive difference to the campaign. I was getting about 50 hits a day on my blog, which I thought was amazing, but then one tweet from Stephen Fry and I got 8,000 hits on my blog and became the most retweeted person in the whole world on that day back in February 2009. It was unbelievable. Social media enables us to connect and, importantly, interactively collaborate with people all over the world. Using something as simple as a hashtag, I could find people across the globe that were interested in what I was doing. I searched several hashtags like Codebreaker, Bletchley Park, World War II every day to see who was tweeting, and then got in touch with those people, asking them to join the campaign. It was social media that really made the biggest difference in the Bletchley Park campaign. It created a step change in what we were able to do and the speed at which we were able to get everyone working together to respond to opportunities that came up as they came up in real time. Before the internet and the cloud, there's no way that we could have reached so many people so quickly and all collaborated with each other across the world, people that didn't know each other previously, connected through social media platforms. It was just amazing. The Bletchley Park campaign lasted 3 years. 3 years of hundreds, probably thousands of people, all connecting with each other, contacting each other, working with each other, working together with people they'd never met before and probably still haven't met to make a difference. We couldn't have saved Bletchley Park without those technologies. It was really a case of the new technology saving the old technology. I recommend you visit Bletchley Park if you can to find out more about the incredible people who work there and the incredible work that they did, industrialising the code-breaking process to save 22 million lives. There are so many things that we can now do because of the internet and cloud computing. We use the cloud in so many ways as part of our Tech Mums programme, teaching skills like app design, web design and coding to mums across the UK. As part of the programme, I tell our mums to think of the cloud as a big filing cabinet up in the sky, which of course it isn't, and I tell them it isn't. It is in fact a massive amount of server farms all across the world full of thousands of computers which store our data. It's amazing to think that any resource we are creating and storing in the cloud could actually be physically located on a computer anywhere in the world, and how incredible is it that we can access and edit that resource in real time. It completely blows my mind, even now. Things have changed so much, been made so much easier, enabled us to do things we never ever dreamed of before because of the technologies that we now have at our fingertips. I'm currently writing a book about software which will hopefully, if I finish it, be published next year. How incredible is it that I started writing it on my computer at home, then when I leave the house and get to work on the train, I can carry on writing into the same document from my laptop or my mobile phone. It's all saved and stored in the cloud. If I travel to another country, I can access the same document and carry on writing it on any other device that's connected to the internet. I can even do that on a plane flying across the ocean. I can give access to my book to my co-author, my editor, anyone, and they can add text or comments at the same time as I'm adding my latest updates. How different is that from my time at university when I had to carry around my documents on my 1.4 megabyte floppy disk? My book is probably more than 1,000 times at least the size of that 1.4 megabyte memory on that floppy disk. It's just utterly incredible. When I was at school, I had a few classes learning to type on a typewriter. It was back in the day. In those days, if you made a mistake on a page, you had to start again. And if you wanted more than one copy, you had to put carbon paper in between the sheets of paper to create those extra copies. How different is that from today, where we type a document on a computer which stores it in the cloud? It can be co-created with many other people, edited over and over again by multiple authors and shared immediately with whoever we choose. There are so many facilities hosted in the cloud which enable us to have a virtual office which we can access and edit from anywhere in the world. The cloud gives us the facility to meet with each other on video calls, saving businesses so much time and money. We also save so much paper now because we don't need to print much of the work that we do. The cloud helps us to save the environment too. We can keep in touch with friends and family, share photos and videos, ensure that our relatives are safe, and live stream family occasions. We actually live streamed our wedding on Facebook a few years ago for people that cannot be there in person. Technology, the internet, the cloud enable us to live better, more connected lives. We've seen that so clearly during the recent pandemic. How much more awful would it have been if we couldn't connect with each other in the myriad of ways that technology now provides us? Technology has improved my life, my career, and my family's lives immeasurably. How has it improved yours? Okay, well, thanks so much for listening, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed what I had to say, and I'm really looking forward to your questions now in the Q&A. Thank you.
Hello, Sue. Can you see me?
Hi, yes, I can. Hi, Per. How are you?
I'm fine. And you?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for a very nice presentation. It's really energetic insights you give here. By the way, right now I'm at the IDC event in Cairo, and this is where digital transformation is really much debated today. On how much technology will change our life moving forward. And with such a fantastic topic, I can't wait to ask you some questions.
Well, thank you. What does IDC stand for, Per?
The event is for the IDC Insights of Technologies in moving forward in the industry, right? So IDC is investigating and taking the pace on IT industries in various areas around the world. And right now it's in the MEA sector, taking place in Cairo, to have the insights of where we are heading for the next upcoming years.
Great.
So
Sounds cool.
yeah. So and by the way, I'm happy to see that you are among the billions of users, right? Now talking about IDC and all the users around digital world using application services very widely with ease of use. Now, as you are a professor of computer science and technology evangelist, also me referring back to the days of 1.45 megabyte floppy disk, right?
Yeah.
Then it reminds me about these old days where I spent days or weeks to build and interconnect several complex compute stacks with network and security devices together for then, later on to program them all thousands of lines of codes to manual deliver a virtual office experience at that time. Now today, all of these are virtual combined with software. So using regular compute nodes with virtualization, this is a cloud approach. This is how cloud services are built up. Exactly the same way we are building the Nutanix solution today, hyperconverged infrastructure solution by using regular x86 servers, and then we are combining these together with software. So it's really working as an automated cloud experience, but on-premise location as a native solution. So my question to you would be, the IT industry is forever changing, right? And you mentioned a few dramatic changes that you experience yourself. A lot of processes that used to be done manually by humans, they are now getting automated. And here as an example, a hyperconverged infrastructure solution like Nutanix. Out of your university students, do you hear any concerns or needs about automation or robots taking jobs from humans today?
Well, that's something I've heard over and over again over the years, I think, really. But I'd say more really from the general public than computer science students. So I guess because our students are studying computer science, they're excited about automation and robots and AI and like software engineering and creating products and services which are fit for purpose for everybody these days. So I think probably my students are the least likely to worry about that sort of thing, because that's where they're hoping to get a job in the future. That's the kind of industries that they're probably going to be working in. And also, they're probably thinking if they're studying computer science, so they're positive about computer science and technology. So, they're excited about the possibilities of being able to automate stuff to, kind of take away the drudgery of some jobs. And so I think it's more come from the general public, really. And I kind of think less and less. I mean, thinking back like 10 years, I think about 10 years ago, I used to hear that so often, kind of like in the media, you'd hear stuff on TV or on the radio, in the newspapers about robots taking away our jobs. But actually, I feel like I hear that less these days. How about you?
Yeah, seems to agree. So, it's just a matter about, it reminds me very much about regular tools. Innovation within past 100 years is everything around developing new tools to do things even better with higher quality and so on. So I definitely agree with you. It's about how to adapt into a new way to find opportunities, right?
Yeah, and kind of help people to realize what tools are out there
Yeah,
to help support them to do their job. So to do the more
yeah,
boring tasks, so they don't have to do those anymore and have got more time to do the more interesting tasks.
yeah. Yeah, and by the way, now you are using software as a service, right? So like, and for those one who are not familiar with SaaS or software as a service, like it could be Office 365 or whatever, right? So these application and code designs, where you in particular mentioned sharing big filing cabinet services that can be located anywhere. There, you might for now have been used to have these or the right user access with the right performance within internet access as well available. So let's assume that one day you will not be able to gain access always with the right performance uh, due to bandwidth limitation. I just had the experience when I came to Egypt last night, right? Um, these edge sites or remote branch offices. And by the way, this is where we're heading, right? We're heading for edge in data flow rather than cloud out. So here, Nutanix and Lenovo solution could be beneficial as a private cloud service solution, really at the nearest point or the nearest location where the edge user is actually present, where latency is not preventing us the regular users from doing our daily work. Um, Very often only 4G or even less speed is available still. It's even we're living like I'm from Denmark, right? Central point of Copenhagen. There, even today, you can get 5G very easily, but it's not normally for a lot of other people around the world, right? Then hence of that, shared data can really be a challenge to access. So put in layman's terms, right? Good internet connection is an absolute must in our personal working lives, especially when working in a virtual office like you're doing. It is so important that we can work at any distance, but also to take responsibility with the current climate. Have you ever had a situation where accessing data has been a challenge for you, or was it a challenge to adapt into new ways of working after COVID?
Well, I guess we've all had times where we've not been able to access the internet or, not got a good service. And yeah, it can be very frustrating. And for me, quite often it's when I'm traveling, I suppose. So, like particularly maybe on trains. Because I travel a lot for work and speaking opportunities in various places. And so, yeah, like on trains and planes where, well, I recently just flew back from Boston on Friday and got the Wi-Fi, paid for the Wi-Fi service, but it just meant that I could hardly, it wasn't good enough to really be able to do anything very much. So it can be very frustrating when you can't just get on and do the things that you want to do. I think during COVID, it's been really interesting in that, well, I guess, like being an academic in computer science, we were quite often holding meetings via Zoom anyway, because, people are out at conferences, like you are now. And so everyone's not always in the same room at the same time. So we're reasonably used to having online meetings or hybrid meetings. But of course, that kind of, that was the most kind of extreme example, I guess, of that during COVID and lockdown, in that everyone was remote. But I think we coped amazingly well, really. And I think most of the people that I've spoken to have found it the same. And even people that aren't technical working in tech kind of found a new way of working, in that they realized they didn't have to always be in the office, kind of 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, and they could work from various different locations. So, so I think it's kind of had some, the obvious negative effects of COVID, but also some positive effects in terms of technology, people's understanding of technology, what products and services are out there. And because they've had to use them, they've had to just get on with it. They've got used to it over a period of time. And hopefully everyone appreciates technology products more than they did before the pandemic.
Yeah, I love the way you put it too, right? I completely agree. Even I have been working with IT for around 30 years, right? Or even more. But it always reminds me every day how much it changed past years within COVID, right?
Yeah,
I could not even imagine, even I'm a technical guy, I was able to build these solutions, I was able to deliver these solutions. It's really changed the life from my point of view as well. Because I was the one flying around the world all the year round, and now it's not rare, but it's not rare so much like it was before
yeah,
for me to travel around and taking meetings and whatsoever the normal way or
yeah.
the legacy way of doing that, right? Now it's very convenient and accepted, by the way, by anyone that we could really do it virtually rather than going face to face, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the difference is that it's accepted now, right? Because everyone had to do it. So they can no longer say that it's not an option because we know that it works.
Yeah, yeah, and is accepted, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So there's one very important thing for me to ask you as well. I was thinking about, and by the way, going back to the 1.444 megabyte floppy disk, I love it, right? Because it's just
Those
giving
good
you
old
some kind of
days.
a vision
Good
here,
old
right?
days.
You're running around with bunch of stacks of disk, right?
Yeah.
You also mentioned something around you had an experience within data corruption on these medias, right? And I definitely do understand what you're saying here because I had the same experience multiple times, right? How important is it for you to have backup services available for you? No matter if the application services are running in cloud, on premise, and how you protect yourself within cybercrime or ransomware attacks, it must be at least very important for you to have a decent awareness about that your data is really backed up the right way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, you just reminded me of when I was doing my PhD, one of my discs that had my whole, like all of the work that I'd done recently on it got corrupted, and I lost 3 months of my PhD and had to kind of do it again. And it took me about a month to come to terms with the fact that I had to do it all again, and that it just wasn't. I didn't have an extra copy somewhere. So yeah, absolutely. I think after that, I made sure that I backed everything up in several places at the same time. But yeah, no, I mean, it's wonderful that we've now got so many different ways of storing data and so much data and so easily. It's just utterly incredible. And it's like living in a different world, really. I remember when I was during my degree, I worked for a year. And part of my job was helping to put computers into schools in London. And we had to build the computer to start with, but then adding all the software onto the computer because we didn't have the cloud. I think it took about 3 hours to load all of the software. And it's like about 40 disks. You had to get everything off the disk and onto the hard drive of the computer. And just how different is that today? I mean, it's just utterly incredible. I don't know if I would have believed it if you told me then what it was going to be like now. So I think, yeah, that the cloud is just invaluable in so many ways. That it's changed everyone's lives out of recognition. I think really it's just utterly incredible. And in terms of protecting myself, I guess because I work at a university, I don't have to worry about that so much because the university IT support services make sure that works for me. So that's one of the good things about working in a big organization. I guess I don't have to worry about that so much. Thank goodness.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, also very good that you're mentioning that, and very important for me to make anyone aware listening to this that the Lenovo Nutanix solution really takes this into consideration. The solution itself is protected by high availability with the copies of data spread around the nodes, but not only that. Of course, we have taken backup and ransomware protection into consideration as well when we delivered or developed the solution with Nutanix and Lenovo together. So there's a way or there are multiple ways to make sure that data is backed up the right way, is ransomware protected, cybercrime protected. Either going to the cloud for shadow copy or even a local copy of any location. There we have several backup solutions available. So, I'm not even aware if you are aware, but, I was, some years ago, I was attending a meeting at the Guernsey Island, right? Like Jersey.
Yeah.
And the reason was because of the Brexit, right? We were very, very much talking about protecting data and how to stay within the GDPR rules or to accommodate the rules around GDPR in general. Afterwards there was an uncertainty around data, where organization, in particular government institution, how to transfer data out of the UK and how to protect and prepare for the responsibility that the UK will have the data located and in a way where they're not violating the rules, right? SRAMS 2 is one of the settlement anyone can find this SRAMS 2 settlement and information about that driven out of Austria. But within the changes in GDPR laws over the last few years, that really affected how business will take responsibility and have to consider where to store data and share data. Do you feel like personal data is more secure now for you, or have you been considering where are my data loaded? Where is it located? Can anyone access them? Am I protected by the UK rules, or could I even foreseen that other rules around the world will actually make it possible to force me to hand over the data that you are uploading?
Yeah, so it's complicated, isn't it? So I think, in some ways things are getting better, in other ways maybe they're getting worse, and it's quite hard. I mean, even as a computer scientist, I'm not an expert in security, so it's quite hard for anyone, I think, to know exactly what the best thing to do is. So I mean, it's good that there are products and services out there to help us do that. I think, like one of the main things when we get mums coming into the Tech Mums program, one of the main things they want to know is, how do I keep my family safe online? And so we teach stuff like, how to set a safe password, how to spot a phishing attack, how to know if your online transactions are secure and that kind of stuff. But I think, it's too complicated for the average person or even the average computer science professor to know exactly how to do all of that. So I guess probably you're the expert in that area, not me. So it'd be interesting to hear from you what you think, Per.
Yeah, I have to admit it's really complicated, right? We have been used as well, as I said before. I'm from the Nordics, right? We know how to handle GDPR rules and so forth, but it's not only about that, right? It's really there's much more into that. So it's really a challenge to understand the whole concept. The way I always put it is that whenever I'm facing customers that really are concerned about this, they should seek more insights about what is possible. Can I really go on premise having like the Nutanix solution, driving my local data rules nearby me, and then I'm only going to, in case I am sending data to the cloud, I really can select and protect myself that way, that I'm only sharing content with the cloud concept, where I'm pretty sure that, or not even pretty sure, but I'm sure that the data will not be violated at any point, right? So the reason for why we are mentioning all this is because we want to bring awareness around there are uncertainty going on right now. The Schrems 2 report from Austria is really a big concern within government institutions in Europe. And we need to put some awareness about it, because it's about all of us, right? It's about you, it's about me, it is about all that filing data you were talking about in before. Where's that data located? Because we're sharing that information, right? And we accessing the same documentation, right? No matter where we are, but where is it located? We don't know. We might not know. And if you really would like to protect and be sure where the data is, that is where you need to be more in control. And this is what you can be if you are selecting Nutanix on-prem solution.
So that's really interesting. I was just going to say, I used to teach that kind of stuff about 20 years ago, just in terms of, there's different rules and regulations in different countries around technology. And, it's just so complicated. And that's 20 years ago. I mean, now it's just ridiculously more complicated than it was then.
Yeah. But, it's changing our life. It's changing anything around what we're asking for. So I think we'll have even more debates around this data protection moving forward. It was really great to meet you, Sue. I loved your pitch. I love the way that you are positioning, the way you're using software as a service application to accommodate digital transformation and to pick up on your daily work. So thank you very, very much for taking your time and answering my questions.
You're very welcome. Thanks very much for inviting me. It's been really interesting talking to you. Thanks.
See you soon, hopefully. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.